Every year before sowing seeds, the ancient Greeks held a festival to honor Demeter, the goddess of agriculture. Demeter was not only the protector of crops, but also closely connected to life and death. She nurtured the fields and brought fertility to the land. Particularly, Demeter always worked alongside her beloved daughter Persephone in agriculture. Persephone, with her beauty and intelligence, inherited her mother's passion for farming. Their bond was special, and their connection was expressed through love and care for the land. In the eyes of the Greeks, every grain of wheat and every harvest carried the presence of the goddess Demeter. She was the symbol of life and prosperity. Along with Persephone, she was central to stories related to the land and crops. Every harvest was a rebirth, and the festival honoring Demeter was not only a time to pray for bountiful harvests, but also a way to express gratitude to the goddess for bringing life to humanity. One day, while Persephone was playing with her friend, the freshwater nymph Cyane, in a garden, they admired a blooming narcissus flower. As they were enjoying the moment, the ground beneath them suddenly began to shake. Suddenly, a large crack appeared in the earth, and a terrifying figure emerged. It was Hades, the god of the underworld and death. With immense power, Hades immediately kidnapped Persephone, pulling her into his chariot and rushing through the layers of the earth, returning to his underworld kingdom. Cyane, witnessing the scene, could do nothing but cry, and her tears turned into water flowing into the river, merging with the underground stream. The entire garden fell silent, and when Demeter, Persephone's mother, arrived to search for her daughter, the pit where Persephone had been abducted had completely vanished. Demeter, frantic and heartbroken, immediately went to Mount Olympus to seek help from the gods. However, when she recounted the events, all the gods remained silent and did not intervene. She became even more desperate when she learned that Zeus, Persephone's father, had agreed to marry his daughter off to Hades without consulting Demeter. Demeter felt betrayed and began searching desperately for her daughter, but received no assistance from the gods. In her sorrow and despair over her daughter's abduction, Demeter decided not to stop looking for Persephone. She ran to Mount Olympus to request help from the gods, but when facing Zeus, Persephone's father, she realized she was dealing with betrayal. Zeus had agreed to marry Persephone to Hades without consulting Demeter, which caused her even more pain. Despite the objections of other gods, Demeter resolutely refused to accept that her daughter was kept in the underworld. In her infinite sorrow, Demeter neglected her work and stopped caring for the crops. This led to the land becoming barren, the trees withering, and the harvests failing. Famine spread everywhere, making life difficult for humans. As people began to die from hunger, the gods on Mount Olympus feared that humans would no longer exist to worship and offer sacrifices to them. At this point, Zeus began to worry about the loss of worshippers and felt the need to act. He demanded that Demeter end her anger and return to caring for the crops to save humanity from famine. However, Demeter refused this request. She insisted that only when Persephone returned would the land be fertile again. Without her, life would be forever extinguished. When Persephone was taken to the underworld, she faced a completely different life. Hades, the ruler of the underworld, wanted her to become his wife and queen. However, Persephone refused Hades' proposal and also refused to eat or drink in this dark world. She missed her mother, missed her friends, and her sadness grew heavier. Meanwhile, life in the underworld lacked the warmth and light she had once enjoyed on the earth. Loneliness and deprivation gradually made Persephone weak and desperate. She began to feel hunger, but she couldn't find anything to satisfy it. Particularly, she longed for the food she used to enjoy on Earth: grains, vegetables, and fresh fruits. One day, while wandering through the underworld gardens, Persephone saw bright red pomegranates hanging on the trees. Her hunger and the temptation proved irresistible, and she ate a few pomegranate seeds. Though it was only a small amount, this act bound her to the underworld forever. According to the laws of the underworld, anyone who ate food from there could never fully leave. Persephone could no longer return to her normal life, and from that moment on, she became a permanent part of the underworld. When Demeter learned that Persephone had eaten the pomegranate seeds in the underworld, she was furious and heartbroken. According to the underworld's law, anyone who ate its food could never fully leave, which meant Persephone would be bound to Hades and the underworld forever. Demeter could not accept this and was determined